I think there's a wicked sense of humor through this, and that allows us to have as much fun with this as we can.
Marvel has become so popular that I don't think that people see it necessarily as subversive now.
Today we'll be diving into how they created this film, from behind the sets to the cast and everything in between. So stick around for some very interesting moments, including how they created the dragons.
The Dungeons and Dragons world has amazing creatures. In this one, I think they outdid themselves.
These creatures are insane. You really can tell they put a lot into this.
We have talked about this film before on our channel, Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, talking about the bloopers and all around funny moments. So make sure to check that video out as well.
It's about finding your own hero within. And each character has their own version of that journey. I don't mind that.
Oh, we got him now! How about a displacer beast? A predator with tentacles and cloaking abilities and... well, I mean, isn't that more than enough?
But before we get into more of these moments, some trivia for you. In what year did development begin for this film? Leave your guesses in the comments down below and stick around to the end of the video to find out if your answer was correct.
I do know that both Jonathan and John are avid geeks.
The basic rules of Dungeons and Dragons runs from levels 1 to 20 and covers the cleric, fighter, rogue, and wizard, presenting what we view as the essential subclass for each.
It's a story about family and friendship and about finding your way in the world and figuring out how to not only make the world better around you, but make yourself a better person within that world.
It also provides the dwarf, elf, halfling, and human as race options. In addition, the rules contain 120 spells, 5 backgrounds, and character sheets.
I'm glad he's on our side.
The nuances that each individual actor brings is what makes this film so great.
The movie is a mix of high fantasy and comedy, which Daley, the film's director and writer, tells us was a difficult balance to capture, adding that they believe there's room for every subgenre in every genre.
I think what John and Jonathan have done so well with this iteration of Dungeons and Dragons is that, at least for me, being an 80s baby, it reminds me of all the great, wonderful qualities of 80s films.
Even though this film was based on something already created, the known board game of Dungeons and Dragons, there still came challenges, as Daley and Goldstein revealed.
Knowing about the woods and turning into animals, which is what my character does as a tiefling.
We went into it knowing that we couldn't just make a movie for fans, though we wanted to make sure the fans felt seen and that it represented all the knowledge they bring to it, Goldstein said.
Using more practical locations and sets, because to us, that's what's so fun about it, and it harkens back to the adventure films, like you said, that we love from the 80s and 90s, Never-Ending Story, Willow, but also those big Spielbergian blockbusters like Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones.
Of course, we can see a lot of action and thrill going on from the trailer alone, and the dragons that we see are 100% CGI, but nonetheless they do look rather lifelike and breathtaking when closer to the screen.
The thing that I find beautiful about Simon is that he's not necessarily upset that he's not good at magic. He really has come to terms with it, which is why he makes himself the butt of jokes.
So even though this may not be a huge budget movie like Avatar: The Way of Water, there was still a lot of effort put into the effects, and the editor on the project, who had some say in the making of the dragons, Dan Lebentel, worked on a lot of Marvel projects in his day, and Barry Peterson was responsible for the special effect part.
I mean, what a character Holger is, but also what a character Michelle is. She sits there on the set in one of those, easy up tents with really loud rock music blaring out.
Chris Pine and Sophia Lillis explained their characters and the difference between the board game version of this game and this specific film.
Sophia's very, very quiet, introverted. Justice is fun and easy and facile in the moment. And Regé-'s very serious, Michelle's very bright, and I can be all sorts of things.
Goldstein again talked about how he was very careful in creating this film and making sure there was a difference between the other dragon-themed series, like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings.
We wanted to be sure that we could do something different with it, and that the studio involved would embrace the kind of direction we wanted to go, which was a departure from Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, you know, something that would be more fun, embracing what it's like to play a campaign of Dungeons and Dragons.
But real quick, make sure you guys check out our Instagram page linked down in the description. There's a ton of interview moments and memes, so make sure you check it out and give us a follow.
Or even Thembershot, the red dragon who looks like he ate all the other dragons as appetizers.
We get to hear from a few of the cast members on their thoughts on this film and the characters they play.
I think that's kind of Holga's, you know, thing, is that she's been kind of shunned by her tribe, and she finds you know, a new team, a new place to belong.
Directors Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley explain how Dorix, played by Sophia Lillis, escape scene presented them with their biggest challenge during their film's production.
I'm part of the ruthless band of thieves, but he's not as evil as the Red Wizard. Never put your trust in a con man.
It was really challenging because obviously we were having to fuse multiple sets in outdoor locations in a way that feels like it's all being filmed in one shot. We also tried as much as we could to rely on practical environments.
3/4 of this film or more is action and running and jumping and crashing and bashing and being blown back. And so there is plenty of visual eye candy in this film.
Obviously our animals were fake for the most part, with the exception of our cat. But it was a lofty endeavor and one that I'm so appreciative of the studio for allowing us to do, because I think everyone knew going in that this was going to be uber ambitious and really tough to pull off.
A great adventure with characters that you're going to care about.
We want to give them the movie that they've been hoping for.
That's what I've been saying!
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
And there have been tons of talks about Easter eggs being planted in this film.
Well, with fans, there's a lot of Easter eggs that we've planted for them, and I think they're going to be happy. John and Jonathan also infused the story with the spirit of the game by making it funny.
Originally, Chris Pine stated that when we got the script, he was skeptical about doing this film as he had never played this game before or didn't know anything about it. But after he played for a while, the joy coming from it inspired him to want to take on the project.
Edgin Darvis is a little bit different than the characters I've played before, in the sense that he is undeniably an optimist. He will make the best out of any situation.
During and around the table segment, the cast and directors discussed certain scenes and what they thought while shooting them.
Camera's straight away on me, biggest scene I've got, and I'm still angry about it.
You killed it.
I'm angry!
You were so good.
It's the first scene with the sand, remember?
Yeah, with the sand, with the floor takes off on us.
With the amount of action that we see in the film, as well with all the fighting and flips that the cast had to do to pull off some of the stunts, Sophia Lillis and Michelle Rodriguez talk about all the stunts and action sequences.
Was it a stretch? A little.
You had to wear horns, right?
I had to wear horns. I also had a tail.
You had to wear 2 corsets?
I had to wear 2 corsets.
Slingshot?
Oh, the slingshot. A lot on my body to be wary of. It was a lot of fun. I'm not really a acrobatic person.
Hugh Grant makes an appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, talking about his character and role.
I am a con man who falls in with our heroes, and they've got a sort of band of rather honourable thieves who steal only from the rich to give to the poor.
Sure.
And then I start to persuade them to steal from people, or not such rich people.
Back when they debuted the trailer to this film 8 months ago, Comic-Con got to sit down with the cast and get exclusive details on one of the characters.
This is a certain type of film for a certain type of audience, so I think that's probably downplayed a little bit. The musicality, I think Edgin certainly believes he has some. Whether or not it proves to be true or not, I guess is up to the audience to decide. But
And as far as the answer to our trivia question, production went through various phases in development since 2013.
One thing about her is that she actually really wants a family. She wants a home. She wants to fit it in some way.
So what do you guys think about all these moments, and have you seen this film yet, and did it live up to your expectations? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe with notifications on for more videos just like this. That's it for today though. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video.
You'll just have to go see Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves to find out.